Now we're going to talk about halachos, matanas havyonim, Jason halachos, some takiros, and some tidbits regards to the laws of giving matanas havyonim important. Shmanar Mitzvah Chafrei Sadi Daled says that Chayat Ka'al the last says Ka'al Beis Matanos and Beis Aniyim. You have two Aniyim matanas havyonim. Now this something called this Evya and something called Dani. It's two separate things. The Gemara Bam Mitzniyadas Kufyat Aleph in the base it says that an Evya is somebody who's called Al Davar Vein Masigo. He's in need for all things, and he doesn't have what he needs. And not only that, She'ene Toish Afil Nishal Litztaka. He's so needy always that he always has to get on other people. That he's not even embarrassed to seek out his needs, has to beg from other people for money. The Gemara in that Bamitzia, the Pa'iches and Beis, is a Ritzvah that discusses a Tesefta and the Yerushalmi in regards to the din of Bein Medakin B'Magvis Purim. So this verse of the Tesefta talks about Bein Medakin B'Magvis Purim. We're not medactic in the money that's collected on Purim. Abel Loichan Agolis, we buy the calves in abundance to feed the aniyim, va'oichin v'shoichin, and the aniyim eat it on Purim, va'amoiser, and the leftovers equal the kishul stock. The Sefta says that with the money that the Gabi stock collects for the aniyim on Purim, we give it to the aniyim, the shefa, in abundance, so we're not mitzamtzim. We don't say this is exactly what you need, and we give them a lot, and whatever's left over goes to kishul stock. Then he brings the Yerushalmi, perhaps one of the most famous Yerushalmis that we know. Yerushalmi says that this regards to Bais Purim, the aim Medakin, we're not Medakin with the Hainu the Kol HaPoshia Noisimai. Any ani who seeks money for Purim, we give to him without being Medactic. As though he's taking the Yerushalmi. And the Tva elaborates and he says, Loimar Sheinois Nim Adam, we give to everyone. The aim Medakin Dover, we're not Medactic. We don't do investigations. And Ani, if he's an Ani, but rightly Nasilai, Shein Yom Zin in Staka. It's not a Yom, it's not that it's Staka, but bad Ella Midin Simcha Umanos. The din of Matanas Evenim is Midin Simcha and Manos. Shari Af Ashirim, we have a din Mishlach Manos Israel. Says the Ritva that the reason why we're not medactic to that which ani to if he's an ani, not an ani, and we give everybody the who comes to us for matanas havyonim, and it is the din of kol ha'poshia noisimai, is because it's midin simcha. It's not the regular din tzedakah that we have kol shana kula. It's a special yom shel simcha, and it's midin simcha. And he makes the correlation between Mashlech Manos and Matanas Havyonim, that it's all the same concept of being Simcha to Yidden. And that's why, when we're not going to be Simcha, whether or not the individual is asking is an Ani, because we want to be Samech. The Kavitz Halachis, he says, he passes that people who are going around collecting money for Moistis or Gabi Tzedakah collecting money for other people, there's no din by them of Kol Poshia Noisimai, and there's no din by Matanas Havyonim over there, because since the Makabel is not getting the money for himself, therefore this, he's not getting that simcha of receiving the money, at a high degree. If you're getting money for yourself, then it's very geshmak. But if you're just getting money for other people, it's not as geshmak. It's not real simple, and therefore, by then there's no din of kol poshia noisimai. Of course, you got stuff with money. Shliach to give matanas havyonim, you can't give mitzvah. But in the din of kol poshia noisimai doesn't apply when somebody's taking money for other people. And if you give money to a mois from yeshiva, that's not also a kima of matanas havyonim. Now there's a shayla in the achronim. If you should give a lot, a little, or a little, a lot. Now, what do I mean? When Claire, is it better to give a lot of yoinim, a little bit of money, you have a certain amount of money to give out. Let's say you have $10,000. Is it better to give out to many aniyim your $10,000 and give each of them, let's say, $2? Or is it better to give a lot? Is it better to give a lot of money just to two aniyim, which is a big key of Batala Segaim? So it's really machlekes that the Bachol, it's better to give a large amount to fewer aniyim, and that's going to make a more of a riba in simcha because the ani is getting more money. And Rabbi Yashua it's better to be mismech many aniyim, and it'd be more simcha by being mismech more people, even if it would be a lesser amount, but it'd be a bigger kimatas of yanim giving many aniyim matan muatas. As long as a child, let's say a person, gives money to a person on Purim, thinking that he's an onion, it's fiscal, and the person's not an onion. Is he mekayim the din of matanas legaim? So on one hand, maybe it should be a kiyum because you mekayim the Torah mitzvah. The mitzvah is to give chal p'shat neisenloi, so you do what you're supposed to do. So was the kiyum by giving this person who wasn't really an onion or no? Maybe the background to the halacha of chal p'shat neisenloi is because the Chazal say we rely on a chazaka that on Purim a person goes up to, we assume that he's becheskas an ani. So kup the chayis, if it was a scholar person not an ani, you wouldn't be mekayim the mitzvah. So I say from the further we just brought up, it says that the din of matanas avenim on Purim is not the gidrei tzedakah, kol hashana, rather it's the idea is to bring simcha, and by the mere fact that you were mekayim the bakasha of the mavakish, and you had a geshmak giving him, and he had a geshmak taken from you, even if it was a scholar who's not an ani, you would still be mekayim the mitzvah matanas avenim because the ma'asom it was a broad matzv of simcha. Somewhat of similar shaila declares. Let's say somebody is not an ani mamish, but doesn't have enough money to pay for his needs that he's used to, but he's not doesn't go to the category of ani that can be makabel, let's say Ma'aseh Ksafim, or Simrish, and Gimel, and Yerdea. So such a person, could he be Mekayim? Could such a person be ask people for Matanas Avenim? So if it's sad that if Chazal gave a din of Paul Pesha Anoisinloi, because like Chazaka, we rely on Chazaka that the person who comes over to is an ani, so perhaps a person like this would not be able to ask for Matanas Avenim. But in the tzad that it's all a din of simcha, to be married simcha, on the Yom Shel Purim, such a person he could ask for matanas avyanim, even though he's not an ani mamish, and especially if he doesn't have enough to have a suda on Purim, b'shefar av, of Michael on Purim, and such a person, if he's going to use the money to have a more geshmaka suda, so since some say that the din of matanas avyanim is to start suda, such a person would have even more reason to accept Matanas Avyanim, even though he's not an ani mamish. Upon him, let's say a person was over on the din of Imidak Purim, and he searched after finding an ani mahudr, and he didn't go through with the din of Kol Peshat Eisenloi. Of course, he is mekayim the din of matanas avyanim. However, the Bekor Chaim does say, Bekor Chaim is the Chavis Yar, he holds that a person should seek out an ani. He says ani merudim of a plugin, a mamish, a mahudik ani. Somebody's transparency for him to mekayim the mitzvah of matanas avyanim. Rabbi Yashua does say that a person should be machmer to go like the Bekor Chaim and try to find the ani mahudr to give his matanas avyanim to. The Maidim Izmanim notes that nowadays the social welfare, and really there's not too many people who lack the basic necessities of food and the basic needs a person needs. So it is very difficult to find a mamish ani mufluk who doesn't have the basics. But the Maisa, since the din of matanas avyanim is to provide for the tzarechei suda, so that would indicate that you should try to find the ani who's so needy that it will help him provide his basic needs for a Suda. The Ma'isa, when you look at the Lashon of Shulchan Aruch, he says, Chay kol adam litin l'chach pachas beis matanis beis aniyim. Shulchan Aruch was nice with the Lashon of Ani. He didn't say shkif to a V'yayim, he said shkif to aniyim. So it's mash from Shulchan Aruch, the Iker mitzvah is to give to Nani. Not only that, the Aruch Shulchan goes a step weiter and he says that it's more important to give to Ani over Evan because Evion, who's not even embarrassed to ask, so if he needs, he'll be able to go around begging and he'll eventually be able to get what he needs. But an Ani who's embarrassed to go around getting what he needs when he's chaser, so he's not. If you don't give him, he's not going to end up what he needs. So he says, but even Evion, you could also be Mekayim by giving an Evi. There's also a shaylo in Akron whether or not the din matanas eviyanim is to be mabereus or is it to fulfill somebody's needs for a suda, and there'll be a major nafkamina b'halacha according to which side you hold like. Because if it's mimabereus and the ani recognize the person giving him the money, so it'll be totally in the erech of the person giving him how much he has to give. If it's a very rich person, the guy's a millionaire and he's giving a matanas eviyanim to his friend, and his friend knows how much his friend's worth, so like you wouldn't be able to get away with giving $50. So you're a millionaire, you should give me much more than that. So it wouldn't be marber reyes if the millionaire gives a small amount to his friend the ani. But if it's only but if the matanas eviyanim is to provide the tzarchi suda, therefore a person can give the guy $25 and that's enough for him to buy a suda, even if he's a millionaire, because if it's not totally in the erech of the person, the erech of the nisin, it's only for the tzarchi suda for the recipient, so you can mekayim his needs by giving him a smaller amount. Many years ago, I was by a shir, I heard from Nissen Kaplan, he said that there's those who want to be kind the eitzah of the shita of the makarchaim given to ani mafluk, but at the same time they also want to be kind the din of kol hapushi yad Islam, be kind the din of emidakin meispur. So he said, the morning of Purim, the first person that comes over to you, the first two anim that come up to collecting without asking any questions, give him right away, kol hapushi yad Islam, and then be kind din that be medaktikin, and then after that you should seek out the ani mahudr. You seek out two aniyim that the mamash aniyim b'flogim, and give them each a matanas eviyanim. And with that you mekayim the kol adayis you did matanas eviyanim. And he said after that the pashtus you don't have a din of kol pesha yad leisimai, because you're mekayim you did matanas eviyanim. Now I was discussing this with Rabbi Kleinman last week when he came here, and he very much disagreed with this approach. And he said, the pashtus, we hold that you don't have to go after seeking out in mamish anima mahudr. We don't go like like the makar chaim. It doesn't have to be an ani muflug. It could be just a regular ani. And we could rely on, just like everywhere else, we rely on chazakas. We could rely on permanent people come over to our aniyim. And not only that, even after Mekayim din matanas eviyanim and you gave to aniyim, throughout the day, there's a kiyum of kol pesha nisan. Keep on all the money you give throughout Purim goes before that din of kol pesha yad, and it's not this din of kol pesha nisan is not a chiyuv maker the dina. It's a niyuk. It's that we have in Purim, but it's not a chiyuv maker the dina. Rabbi Yashu says that there's manenu, it's not so kokach matzah aniyim who are chaser, mamish, all the basic necessities. So he gives that the Gdari he gives of matanas eviyanim, he should give to somebody who doesn't have enough money to support him and his family and his dependents throughout a full year. And such a person who's right for be makabel ma'aseh ksapim, him you could be makayim also your din of matanas eviyanim. And not only that, even people who are desperate because they have major chayvus, because they have chasnas they made or need to make, or they have chayvus from tzarchi refuah, even those people will be candidates for matanas eviyanim. This is not Muslim in all the Paiskim, but Rav Vosner, Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, they're chalk, and they say that people who have tremendous haitzais, they did for Nachmasas Kalo, they will not be really from Matanas Evyanim unless somebody's chaser for the basic necessities, for necessities of living, but not people of the previous types from Nachmasas Kalo won't make them right from Matanas Evyanim. Now, although the Shulchan Aruch says that we should the chiyuv matanas evyanim is to give to evyanim, to aniyim, the Mishnah Berurah says that's the Shir Medina, but he quotes the Rambam that says that mutar harbois b'matanas evyanim. It's better to margin matanas evyanim yaisim mesidas purim u'mishleach manas. Better to give more money for matanas evyanim, more than you're spending on mishleach manas and mesidas purim. In simcha umefa'ayro el l'sameach le'ba'anin. And you say ma'amaris v'gerim. There's no greater beautiful simcha of being sameach the aniyim and amanis and yisayim, and therefore it's much more right to spend all your money on tanas evyanim more than the sudas purim and mishlach manas. Now there's a very fascinating Maggid Mishnah on this Rambam. I never saw such a thing in my life. I'm saying such a thing. He says, Divi Rabbeinu Ru'uyin Elof. Divi Rabbeinu Ru'uyin Elof. He means to say that the Rambam, Kayidua, was a great Ashir. He had a lot of money. And it must be that the Rambam himself was Mekayim this din in practice. He took his whole, every permit, when a permit came along, the Rambam spent more money giving to the Yisayim and Amanis in the Matanas Evyanim more than he spent on his Mishlach Amanis and Sidas Purim. And that's why he's saying, Ru'uyin Din Rabbeinu or Ru'uyin Elov. It's right for the Rambam to have said such a thing because it's fitting for him, because he himself practices. Now what is the amount that a person should give Matanas Evyanim? There are different shittas. The Ritva Shita is in the Megillah that you should give Chalapach 2 fruits to Evyanim, meaning one fruit to each. The Ran says, Matan Achas Shikashuba Enem Kedavar Gadol. The Mashah says the Mashmais that he says the Mashmais Matanas Evyanim is that you should give a Matana Chashuva. The Kibbutz Halachas many years ago wrote that it's $1, maybe it's now more than that. And there are shittas that say it's enough. You should give enough for the tzarchei Sudas Purim. So over 20 years ago, Chamabadi said that it's about 10 shekel, enough to buy a falafel. Rabbi Yashiv held that you should give to each ani 50 shekel. And Moshe Feinstein gave a shear, enough to buy a roll and a coffee. And the Shar Tshuva says M'Shem Achrein you should give at least 3 bayim of a pass, and 1 fruit is not enough, because this is the shear enough to give a matana wetes for a shear suda. And the Pri Megadim says that he didn't find a shear that he could give as a psak for matanos and evyanim. The Magen Avraham says in the Shlom that you cannot give matanos and evyanim from meiser, and Max Shackle explains because you can't be preachayvos with the matanos and evyanim. With the moist meiser. You can't be your chayvus of a meiser with matanos evyanim. Mishnah Berurah says from the Maril that once a person's ready was makayim his matanos evyanim to aniyim, then he could go give from kesa meiser to more aniyim and be makayim more matanos evyanim. But that's only after he's makayim ikr din. And even moist that you're miyachit for tzedakah before Purim says the Aruch HaShulchan you can't use that money for matanos evyanim. That's brought down halacha that Mishnah says, Say Isha, they both are mechim matanos evyanim, even nashim, because afim by sanes, and for that reason the Pri Megadim says that aniyim also are mechim matanos evyanim, even though they themselves are in need, because afim by sanes. To end off the Aruch HaShulchan, he has a very interesting psak. So we said that ish v'isha are machlit b'tas evyanim, but the Aruch HaShulchan says that a married woman, since is ishne kagufoy, therefore if her husband gives matanos evyanim to tuaniyim, she will be potter from giving because ishtei kagufoy. It's a big chiddush because she herself really has her own chiyuv to give. No other place can say this. But the Aruch should know since ishtei kagufoy, therefore, if the husband gives, she's potter from giving. It's ishtei kagufoy. But the chayro, it's not so schwer for the Aruch Shulchan to say this because he's saying that this is saying the Shitasa what he says in Hilchos Shabbos. We said many years ago in a different Mishmar. We quoted this Aruch Shulchan. The Aruch Shulchan talks about when it comes to the din of Achon Shabbos. Goes to the Gemara that says that is the Indian when it comes to Chav Shabbos. Every person should be Chav Shabbos begufay. You shouldn't just send a shliach. You should do at least one thing in the Chav Shabbos to the Ba'atzmoi. Like it says in the Gemara on Shabbos, that even the Amiroyim, they took out time from their day to do Hachana Shabbos by themselves. The Gemara says, Rav Malach Shivuta, different things that each Amari did for the Kabbat Shabbos. And over there, the Aruch Shulchan says, Avam Ishtoi Hamechin the Shabbos, if your wife prepares Shabbos in the house, and she does things, the Kabbat Shabbos, Ein Sarah Flas Shum Dover. The husband doesn't have to do anything. Why? Because if your wife goes ahead and does things as Kabbat Shabbos, you yourself don't have to do anything. Sit back and learn, do what you got to do, because Ishtei Kedufay. The Chayra, this is only a svara legabe Shabbos, but the Chayra doesn't stem in the Hilchos Shon Bayis.
Yeah.